Here we go, ready? Welcome back everyone to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm here again with DiviDaddy.
Hey guys.
We learned a few things from our last video. We actually did some homework. We learned a few things that we hadn't heard elsewhere. So what are some of the things that we learned, Patrick, about gas prices and why they're so high here in Oregon?
So I reached out, let me give a shout out to my Uncle John. My Uncle John got on the phone with him and said, hey, I know you've been in the industry. Can you tell me why gas is so much more expensive here than it is in other states? His answer was real quick. It has to do with the refineries. So we learned that there are not very many refineries out here on the West Coast initially to begin with. On top of that, we learned that even the ones that have been here in production are shutting down.
Yeah, so I think the numbers were, and I can link the story below in the description. I found a couple stories about this, but they're not really talked about much. But there's, I think it's about somewhere between 8 and 10 refineries that are closed, mostly in the South, you know, Louisiana, Texas, like Houston, which is in Texas, and a few other places around there. But it adds up to about a billion barrels a day that they're down, and the numbers are pretty staggering. The amount of oil that they can refine per day is the lowest it's been in like 8 to 10 years. It's really low now, and that's contributing to the factor, like it's supply and demand, right? So there's a bigger demand on the West Coast for gasoline, but there's not enough supply, so as a result, prices are going up.
And they can't even keep up with the supply output. They can't produce enough or refine enough, even if they could get their hands on the raw material. They can't process the materials fast enough that we consume it.
Right, and the reasons for these closures, there's a couple of different reasons, but it's been since 2020, they're down like all these different closures, either for maintenance or for getting used to like the green rules, the new regulations that they've been passing in the last couple of years, so that these refineries can not emit whatever carbon amounts or whatever they're doing. But all those reasons are contributing, much like, you know, we've seen with the food supply, and we see food facilities being closed. Gas suppliers are closing, and we have transport issues to get the gas even out here.
Yeah, there is definitely a significant factor when you consider taxes as well that are on top of it. We have no sales tax here in Oregon, but the tax is built in. So taxes differ in a lot of places as well, but the reality of it is, I mean, it's so much more expensive to fill up my tank here than it was in Texas.
Yeah, and we're testing the mics thanks to the background. Where are we, Patrick? Tell us the people where we're at.
We're at a local Albany Heritage Mall here just to shop. A lot of friends of mine own places around here. Got a hobby shop right back here where there's cards, and definitely the Target in the area. Albany's not a very huge town, so not a whole lot of places to go shopping, and you're just seeing all over here, just businesses shut down after businesses shut down. It's definitely hurting in here. Yeah,
and these smaller towns are hurting a lot, and then you've got these chains of towns, and like the I-5 runs right through the middle of Oregon, and runs all the way down to San Diego and all the way up to Seattle. And a lot of towns, a lot of businesses are strung right along this corridor, but it's a transport corridor. Everybody's commuting, everybody's driving along the highway, and that adds up to more gasoline consumption. So if people aren't driving as much, then these smaller towns with these more tailored, more custom, like a custom experience, and they're not the big box stores. They're like, this is like, you want to go to a particular restaurant for a good meal, or go to a particular small shop that has just what you want. That's great.
Very boutique.
Yeah, it's a boutique, and like we're not far from Corvallis, where Oregon State is. So you get a lot of people that are coming here on a regular basis if there's not a constraint. But if there's not enough gas, and the gas prices are too high, that's another control element to not allowing you to go as far or to socialize.
Yeah, the other thing that it's impacting around our community here, specifically in this area locally, is we have a huge farming community out here. They're noticing the costs of running their combines, the cost of running the equipment that they need just to process and get their crop out of their fields. It's just costing them so much. And on top of that, you have wholesalers who have already pre-purchased the product for a predetermined amount. So right now, not only can they not sell it for more money, but it's costing them more money, slimming down margins. This is another story we heard again today. I took you over to my local shop. Shout out to Blaine at Daily Energy, and got him to accept crypto today for the first time. It's pretty fun, I have to admit. That was cool.
That was fun.
But he's even talking about their margins being squeezed too.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon known as price compression. So the wholesaler sells it to the retailer for a higher price, but the retailer is afraid to raise his prices for fear of losing business.
And they don't increase MSRP.
Right, exactly. So so if you say that this should be sold for $5, but you're now, instead of it costing you $2.50 to buy from your wholesaler, it's out $3, and they don't change the MSRP off that $5, so you're not doubling your price to make your margin to pay your own bills. Now you have price compression. You've gone from buy at $2.50, sell at $5 to buy at $3, have to sell at $5 still. Maybe that's why you need to really, if you're a retailer out there and you're struggling, you should really do some homework around your market. Check out what the big boxes are selling if you have similar products. Even scan the barcodes and look at there's apps on there you can get on your phone. Scan your products and see what they're costing locally. Make sure you're not undercutting yourself, and make sure you're pricing your products accordingly, because believe me, people are not going to leave your store for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar. So I think people are like, if it's supposed to be, if Walmart's selling it for $7 and you're selling it for $5, you're hurting yourself too much.
I agree, yeah.
So lots of economics, lots of things that we're talking about. We're going to continue. We're probably, there'll be another video, plenty of videos coming out as we keep going through lots of places in Oregon. So stay tuned. But with all that said, I'm going to close the door on the bureau, say follow leader one more time, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Later, guys.